difficult viewpoints. What? My partner and I have different viewpoints. Of course. You know, that's why you have a partner for, to see things in a different way. If everyone's, if your partner and you actually thought the same and did the same, then they were hopeless, you wouldn't learn anything. In eating livestock, and I am mostly vegetarian, I avoid as much as I can not to eat fresh food, fresh fish, seafood, wherever at times my partner gets upset, especially during annual or special occasions. I refrain not to eat this or that. These advice are the most harmonious way to deal, and what if I do eat it? Thank you. Have you ever heard that saying, you are what you eat? Heard that saying? Yeah. Well then a cow must be grass. So if you eat cow, you just eat grass. You are what you eat. Cow is grass, therefore the cow is grass. It's just processed grass. No. It's okay being a vegetarian and loving animals, but don't be someone who loves animals and hates people. You understand what I mean? So be kind. I remember when I was a vegetarian, before I became a monk, my girlfriend invited me to dinner. She spent all this time cooking a nice dinner for me. But she must have had a mental block, she forgot. She's probably thinking of me, that's why she was thinking of the food. She cooked a meat dish for me, and I refused to eat it. That was the end of our relationship. Probably a good thing, actually. But afterwards I felt, what a pain in the neck I was. What a bad thing that was I did to her. I felt really sorry about that afterwards. She went to all this trouble, cooking something special for me. And then I refused to eat it because she forgot it was me. That's why I understood, yeah, I loved animals, but I hated people sometimes. So please be kind to both. The right thing to do, if I had that chance again, I would eat that food, say, it was delicious, but please, next time, don't eat it. I would eat it first of all. So remember, kindness and compassion is really important. So if that's going to keep your marriage alive, okay, just eat a fish or something with your partner. Then he respects you a lot. So look, I'm doing this for you, for harmony, for the fact we're a couple. And then a lot of times he'll actually help you out. How not to be judgmental. What's wrong with being judgmental? Stop judging judgmental people. Actually, you don't know. So I can't judge any one of you. I don't know what you've been up to, why you've done things and stuff like that. But it's so easy to jump to conclusions and get it all wrong. That's why many times when I've judged a person and I've got it wrong, it's so embarrassing. Like that one time, it's in Open the Door of Your Heart, it's a really good story. There was a time maybe 10 or 15 years ago, I don't know what it was, there was scandal after scandal after scandal of monks in Thailand. They're getting up all sorts of mischief, mistresses, millionaires, don't know where they got the money from, and all sorts of stuff like that. So, in a packed meeting in Perth, I came up to the microphone and I mentioned all these scandals which had been happening in Thailand. And I was a monk who has lived in Thailand many years. So I decided to make a confession in front of everybody. I wish I could keep a straight face. In front of everybody, I confessed. I looked down at the ground, which is what you're supposed to do when you're cooking. Looked down on the ground and said, some years ago, I spent some of the happiest moments of my life in the loving arms of another man's wife. Which we kissed, we hugged, and she was married to another man. And when I said that, this was before I wrote the book, okay, some people were shocked. They could hear the breath going, oh, not Ajahn Brahm, please, no, not Ajahn Brahm, our teacher. And a couple of people already walking to the door, they're going to leave forever. And then I said, that woman, in whose arms I spent some most loving hours of my life, we kissed, we hugged. The one who was married to another man, that was my mother. She was married to my dad. We spent some of the happiest times of my life, kissing, being hugged by my mum. So I said that, how easy it is to judge and get it all wrong. It sounds like it, doesn't it? It sounds, there's a monk. It's not even just breaking the monk's precepts, it's adultery. Kissing another man's wife. The wing is saying, oh, it's the monk. Oh, okay, that's all right. So that's one of the reasons why, please don't judge. A lot of times you get it wrong. You've got insufficient information. You just jump into conclusions, and too often you get it wrong. So don't judge. Why a person does what they have to do, who knows? It's their karma, not yours. So your job is never to judge. But to give the other person the benefit of the doubt. If they get upset at you, they call you names. Give them the benefit of the doubt. They must have thought it was someone else. Mistaken identity. Or number two, they must be mad or crazy. They say such bad things to you. Give them the benefit of the doubt. And that way you don't have to get angry back. If it's your wife says you this, I must be PMS. It's a great excuse these days. So give everybody the benefit of the doubt, okay? And then you don't judge. You have a much happier life. Is it okay for me to make a lot of money from the stock market? I feel like I'm making a lot of money that other people lost, even though I invest ethically. If you really want to have the best investment, it's in Dharmasara Nuns Monastery in Perth. Guaranteed returns without any loss in your next life. Be careful investing in stock market because what goes up?
Goes down.
Goes down, yes. And that's the problem. When it goes up, you're very happy. When it goes down, you're in deep trouble. So, invest ethically is good, but be careful. Sometimes we think we're smart. We think we know better than anybody else. We have a run of good luck and then we lose it all. It happens to so many people, so be very, very careful. Don't ever think that you're smarter than other people. Dear Ajahn, why do we tend to be our own harshest critics? How can we build our confidence and self-esteem, and how can we be less self-conscious? It's great, look. Harshest critics, give yourself the benefit of the doubt. So, look, I told this story in the car from KLIA. It's one of the great stories that open the door of your heart. The person I was telling this to is supposed to be a psychologist. She's supposed to know these things, one of Alvin's friends. And she got it totally wrong. I don't know what you're talking about, you're teaching people in Monash. But the story is, remember, of the 7 monks meditating in a cave on loving kindness. Buddhist loving kindness, may all beings be happy and well without distinction, whatever race, religions, gays, lesbians, straights, animals, whatever. Your love goes evenly to everybody. And the monks in the cave, there were 7 of them, and those 7 monks were the head monk, his brother, they became monks together, his best friend was there too, as a monk. The 4th monk was the enemy, they just had personality clash, they just never get on. Sometimes you have people like that in life. 2 really good people separately, but together they just have some karmic connection from the past, just can't get on together. And the 5th monk was a very old monk. He was so advanced in years, he could die any day. You know, you pick people like that. you know, they're in and out of hospital, you know, they're really sick, you don't know when they're going to die, any day now. So he was close to death. And the next monk was a sick monk. He was also close to death as well. And no one knew who would die first, the old monk or the sick monk. And the last monk was the useless monk. He was the one, whenever he tried to meditate, would fall asleep. It doesn't matter about falling asleep, but he'd snore just like everybody else. When he chanted out of key, if you can remember the chant at all, he was a useless monk. And if you ask any monk, any Sangha member, every monastery has one. So those were 7 monks meditating in a cave. And one day, this band of thieves came to that cave. They found it in the middle of the jungle. And they thought, this would make a great hideout for us, where we can, you know, hide from the authorities, the police, where we've done our thieving, where we can store all the stolen goods. And the police will never find us here. But we have to kill all of those monks. Otherwise they will tell the authorities we can't use this cave. And the head monk was a very, very good negotiator. He managed to convince the head of the thieves to let all the monks go except one. One will be killed in front of the other monks as a warning that these thieves were serious. And if any monk told the police where the cave was, the same would happen to them. The thieves would track him down and kill him. That was the best deal the head monk could get. One would have to be sacrificed so all the other monks could go free. Now, I'm going to ask you to imagine you were the head monk. And who would you choose? I'll give you the list again, the 7 monks. If you've heard the story before, please be quiet. The head monk was the first. The second was his brother, who would do anything for the head monk. Same with the best friend. A best friend would sacrifice your life at the drop of a hat for you. The fourth monk was his enemy. They never got on together anyway. It wasn't nice to get rid of the guy. The next monk was a very old monk. Same with the sick monk. Both of them were the end of their life anyway. It was only a matter of days and they would die anyway. And lastly was a useless monk. Throughout his whole life, he'd never done anything of use for anybody. So, if you were the head monk, who would you choose? The head monk, if you think he sacrificed himself, please put your hand up. Have the courage of your convictions. Okay? You are all wrong. Any other suggestions? Anyone for the useless monk?
The snoring monk.
Sorry?
The last one to snore.
The snore. Now, I'll put you out of your misery. Many of you read the book, and the story is the head monk could not choose. Now, most people, like the psychologist Monica, she said, oh, sacrifice himself. That's the wrong answer. Your love has no distinction and discrimination. You love all beings, no matter what race, no gender, what age, sick or not sick. And you love yourself no more, no less than everybody else. I love talking about this in the West, especially to Christians. Didn't your teacher, Jesus, tell you to love your neighbour as yourself? It didn't say love your neighbour more than yourself, as yourself. To love yourself as your neighbour, no more, no less. No matter how many people keep sacrificing themselves, that is not being wise. That's not understanding compassion and wisdom. You love yourself no more, no less than anybody else. You treat yourself exactly the same as others. No more, no less. Then you'll never again be a harsh critic of yourself. You understand the deep teaching of Buddhism, and of all religions really, to love yourself as your neighbour. No more, no less. So, in order to actually do this, we have a little exercise. Can you please put your hands out in front of you? Now bring them in and give yourself a hug. Ooh. Ooh, that's nice. If you don't feel depressed, and no one else will hug you, you've got some terrible disease. It actually feels good. So that's how you treat yourself as you treat others. You hug other people, hug yourself. After I came out of meditation, sometimes I have a feeling of heaviness, pressure around my forehead. What is the cause of this and would it be overcome? Probably been focusing on the tip of your nose. Or sometimes trying too hard. Please relax. Don't try too hard. When you try too hard, you get tense. Meditation is not being tense, it's the opposite of it. Let it go. I have heard from a monk once it is very foolish to learn from different gurus and bad karma to abandon your guru for the teachings of another guru. I'm confused by this because didn't the Buddha caution not to accept what we hear per se and to always check the Vinaya Sutras or with other bhikkhus or bhikkhunis? Indeed, sometimes they don't want to get rid of you. As for me, I'm always trying to get rid of you. It's true. Isn't that the job of a teacher? To get rid of disciples? If you go to school, say grade 10 or something, and you keep going back there year after year after year, would that be a good teacher? Shows I'm a really terrible teacher. Some of you have been coming to my classes, how many years now? Now you've been coming since I first came to Malaysia. It must be I'm a terrible teacher. A good teacher tries to get rid of disciples. To make them independent so they don't need teachers anymore. That's the whole point of it. I'm trying to get rid of you. That's why I'm a bad teacher. I'm totally incompetent. That's why you keep coming back. But it's also, where do you go to say university? How many teachers do you have at university? Do you just have one teacher teaches you, say, economics? Or one teacher teaches you calculus, maths, and anything else? You have many teachers. Because it doesn't matter who the teacher is, one teacher can have strengths in some things and weakness in others. That's why we do have many teachers. That's why I encourage you not just to go listen to Ajahn Brahm every time. Find other teachers who teach a little bit different. Where I'm weak, they can be strong. And that way, you can become more knowledgeable, more proficient, wiser people. That's why when someone says, no, only one teacher, and that's all, there's something very wrong with that. It's almost like a cult. So that has nothing to do with Buddhism. Please, wherever you find the good teachings, go for it. In fact, usually we say we don't have a guru. We don't take refuge in Ajahn Brahm. We take refuge in the Buddha, the Dhamma, and Sangha. Yeah, all the monks and nuns, not just one. So that's the best. In the third precept, stating, do not take intoxicants or drinks. That's the fifth, yes, sir. Is it liquor in the form of dog or stout? Should be avoided since it helps to strengthen the body system in blood circulation. All the excuses you have to take it. It does not. No, there was, 10 or 15 years ago, there was a myth circulated that if you take alcohol, it's good for your heart. And that came some very dodgy research done in California. Just like the research which actually proved if you smoke cigarettes, you have far less chance of getting Alzheimer's disease and dementia. The research was done, it was compelling. Until someone pointed out the reason why you don't get dementia and Alzheimer's when you smoke cigarettes is because you don't live long enough. Be careful. So what was happening, this research done in California, here we go. done in California. They checked people who drank alcohol, the amount of alcohol, especially different types of alcohol, and they did find a correlation. If you drink red wine especially, then you have much better Okay, guys, look, I'm sorry, I've been talking about you for a while. Okay, guys, now please behave. I do love you. That's all right. Very good. That is being rude to me. So, anyway. So, red wine and heart disease. So, first of all, they thought there was a correlation there. They saw that people who took red wine throughout California had much better cardiac health. Until someone else re-looked at all the data, and they realized the people who took red wine, the reason why it was good for their health was because in their economic bracket, these were usually the more wealthy and more refined people in California. You know, the low class, the workers, they just had beer, they never took wine. And so when they adjusted for your economic level, they took all the people in the same economic level, those who took red wine and those who didn't, they realized that taking the red wine was actually harm to your cardiac health. It was much better not to take alcohol. They confused the cause and effect. What was causing better health was the people who took red wine had more money and they had much better health care and took much better care of their health. It wasn't the red wine which was the cause, it was their economic prosperity that was the cause. So you be very careful about these statistics, because sometimes those statistics are sponsored by British American Tobacco or some brewery. So be very careful. It's actually much better actually not to take alcohol. And in fact, the London School of Economics, about a year ago, they did a survey on all the different types of drugs, methamphetamines, marijuana, and alcohol, to find out which drug had the biggest social cost. And the one which cost economies the most throughout the world was alcohol. That causes more harm than heroin, methamphetamines, and everything else combined. The amount of social and health problems come from alcohol abuse is huge. If I jump on, please explain let it go. Does it mean don't care? How does one let go? Easily. And of course you care. That's why you care. The biggest act of love, someone actually asked me again, what does love mean? And I did the 3 types of love. The first love is like falling in love, the boy meets girl. And that is when you love the way they make you feel. You don't actually love them when you're falling in love. You get a high in their presence. When you meet your boyfriend and girlfriend, you feel a boost of happiness. You literally love the way they make you feel. Okay, stereo again. You love the way they make you feel. That's the first type of love. The second type of love is the same as the love you have with your kids. You don't choose your children, they just come, you don't know where they come from. It's like on luck. But still, you love your children for the rest of their life, no matter what they do. And they go to jail, you still love them and go and visit them. Your husband, no way. So that's the second love. It's the love which you have towards, say, your children or to your mum and dad. You love them indiscriminately forever. And the last act of love, the highest of all, is the love which can let someone go. I don't want anything from you. I just want you to be happy and well. Grandma, you lived a long life. Don't try and keep alive for me. We let you go with our blessing. Go, Grandma. Die with our blessings. It's the love which can let someone go. That's the highest act of love. That's why we let go. It's an act of love, of high love. We don't criticize anybody, we don't judge. We don't worry about the past and future, we let it go. Hands out. Is it possible to communicate with animals? Of course you can. You go woof woof. Some people think that animals can't communicate, but you know, I don't know if you have like this anti-discrimination laws in Malaysia, you know, where you can't you have to employ someone, you can't take into consideration say their race, or their religion, or their age, or their gender. You don't have that.
We should.
We should, yeah.
No.
You don't have it. You know they have it in many countries. You know, you can't say you can't take the job because you're a woman. Men and women have to be treated equally. Even if you're old. As long as you can do the job, if you get the job, they can't discriminate at all. It's anti-discrimination laws to give people fairness. You're hired if you can do the job. If you can't do the job, fair enough, you're not hired. So one of these companies was hiring a secretary. And the person or the thing which applied for the job was a dog. And the dog pointed with his paw to the anti-discrimination announcement. They had to give the job to anyone who could actually perform. So the manager was hiring, said, okay, get on the computer, type out a letter. And this dog, he got up on the seat, he logged in, he opened up Microsoft Word and he typed in his perfect letter. Crikey, this dog is competent, you can do the job. Okay, you've got to be able to do a spreadsheet. So he got on the mouse, typed up something, did a perfect spreadsheet. It's amazing. But this is in Europe, they would have all these anti-discrimination laws, and they said, but you also have to be able to speak a second language. And so the dog went, meow. You ask any pet owner, you can communicate with animals. Make it communicate as well. If we have bad dreams or feel something disturbing, in what sutta should we chant? Sometimes dreams seem to be so true. What is Buddhism's point of view? If you're in a dream, you can't open up a sutta. So it's just a dream, okay. If it's a bad dream, I tell people, write it down. There's a book there. People like these bad movies. Zombies, what's the other one? Vampires. Anything really bad or evil. It's a great script for a movie. You can make a fortune there. Or feel something disturbing, what should we do to chant? If you feel something disturbing, it's probably your husband next to you. Putting the blanket on and saying, get on the other side of the bed, darling. That's what we should chant. Now, it's very, 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 very rare to have a spirit disturb you. And if it is, you say, get out of here. Or I'll tell that chapter. That's what you need to do. Quick. When I use a mantra in meditation, I find my focus shifting from my breath to the words. How do I block out thoughts or let go of them with a mantra and yet still concentrate on the breath? No, just block out the thoughts first of all. Forget about the breath. You just got the mantra. And then when the thoughts are dealt with, then you can go on to the breath. Do one thing at a time. So you can't be cooking and eating at the same time. Well, maybe you can. One thing at a time, so you're just focusing on calming down the thoughts first of all. So calm down, forget about the breath. And once the thoughts are calmed down, then you can go on to the breath. So don't try to be 2 or 3 things at the same time. Good day to you, and to you too. I find it hard to calm myself down every time. I get angry due to my short temper. If it's a short temper, it means it doesn't last that long. Yeah, but you're a long temper, that's important. Because of that, I often avoid something people around me often avoid or treat me exceptionally cold. How can I change that for a better, relaxed and easy life for myself and others? Yeah, okay. You find calm yourself down every time. After a while you get skilled at calming yourself down if you're kind to yourself. So remember, before you see people, 2 hands outside. Just give yourself a big hug. Well, take your hand, just goes over there. I know you love me. I know I'm a pain in the butt to others, but I love me. I'm okay. Because if you want to develop kindness to yourself, it's much easier to be kind to other people. And if that's in the office and you're about to visit this boss or something you get really angry at, go into the ladies' room first of all, if you're a girl, there's a men's room if you're a man, and do the 2-finger. Okay. You know the 2-finger? So, finger on either end, push up. And look at yourself in the mirror, smile. If that's too difficult to do the 20 push-ups every morning. You know the 20 push-ups? 1, 2. Exercise and smiling muscles. And then when you're smiling, as soon as you're actually happy, notice when you're smiling you can't get angry. If you laugh at yourself, all your anger disappears. The same way as somebody's having an argument and someone cracks a joke. Everyone laughs, all the anger is dissipated. That's the best way of doing it. What was that story? This is, if I can remember correctly, about there was a patrol of US Marines in Afghanistan, and they came across this British soldier who was injured on the side of the road, and also a Taliban on the side of the road, both badly injured. And they looked at the British soldier first, what happened? And he said, well, I was on patrol, and I saw the Taliban saw me, so we both dived into ditches. And the British soldier shouted at the Taliban, you stupid terrorist, Osama bin Laden is homosexual. and the Pakistani government is corrupt. And the Taliban shouted at the English guy, yeah, the British government is corrupt as well. Tony Blair was a war criminal. And the British soldier shouted back, saying, yeah, and your organisation, the Taliban, they never look after anybody anyway. They're just a bunch of thugs. And he shouted back and said, yeah, and your commander's also a bunch of thugs and don't look after anybody. Then they paused and said, actually, we're both right. So they got up into the middle of the road and they shook hands. And that's when they were hit by a bus. If you actually go to the actual soldiers on the ground, they're just both exploited people. So that's why. That joke come from anyone. Anyway, never mind. Let's get to the next question. What is meditation? Oh, I've been talking about Is it just to observe the moment of silence? Meditation is calming down, being still, being peaceful, loving yourself. Is the objective setting is to prolong the moment of silence as long as possible before it's being interrupted by abandoned thoughts? So that's one thing. It's just to be calm, to relax. Relax to the max and be still, be peaceful. It's to arrive. Remember, you've arrived, so just be here. What is the true objective of meditation? Just being here. If you set any goals in meditation, if you set some goals, you're not here, you're somewhere else. So, next question. May we transfer show merits of the 38 victims who died in the accident last 2 months ago to a place not far from here? Someone told me there was a bus accident here.
Yeah.
38 people lost their lives. And usually when there's tragedies, there are, you know what, Maybe, what was it, the Bahasa word for ghost? So if there are 100 around, remember, where will they come from? Come from casino. So where do you think they'll go back to?
Casino.
They're not coming here. They're on the top there, trying to do some more. What is the right sitting position in meditation to avoid nails on your feet? Nails on your feet. Because there is no right sitting position. Whatever is comfortable for you. Sit on a chair or whatever. And then so you don't get any sort of numbness or anything. Dear Ajahn, thank you very much for the numerous tips on meditation and on life. Question about practice yesterday this morning. Why does the body move right to left by itself while sleeping, like stepping down the stairs by one step? I know if that's what your body wants to do, it can do it. Don't try and control the body. Sometimes the body moves because it's trying to release some energy or trying to get some health. So when you're meditating and still, if the body wants to do something, lean to one side, please let it. And that's why if it starts to rock and you're afraid it's going too far and you're going to fall over, we can get you motorcycle crash off. For those of you sitting on a chair, we can get you safety belts. You won't fall off. That's okay, let's let the body do what it needs to do. Experience a slight pain in the back of the head, noted, and go on quickly, that's okay. Usually any aches and pains in the head, maybe just some stuff coming out of you, but if it persists, it's because you're trying too hard. Relax now. I have one colleague whose performance is below expectations. Whose expectation? Remember, one of other talks, which was again Harvard Business School blog, I gave a talk on lowering expectations. And I was taken up by someone in Harvard, in a business school, who put on the blog noting that successful companies, the ones who survived the GFC, were the ones who actually lowered their expectations to something reasonable and achievable. The problem was that many businesses, and many people, have expectations which are so high, there's no way you can achieve them. Which means you'll lose motivation, you'll feel a failure. So lower your expectations to what's achievable. And then when you achieve that, you get a big boost of confidence. And then you have the next goal, your next expectation. But keep them moderate. Our expectations are far too high, which is why we get stressed out, and why we always feel we failed. And for me, my expectations are way down there. I don't expect you to laugh at my jokes, but if I do, I'm quite surprised. We don't have any expectations to have much happy life. So please, if you want happiness in life, lower your expectations to something more reasonable. So I have one, look, are you satisfied with your politicians and government? Lower your expectations. One colleague performances below expectations and affects the progress and works for the whole team because you're asking too much of them. He can't sleep well because he worries about his works which are piling up. Exactly, you're causing him to get stressed out. And busy after office hours, he can't concentrate because he does not have enough rest. I have numerous discussions with him and he says he will be prepared, but so far more saying only. What is your advice to me to help him and also the team? BeingKind will be not fair to the other colleagues and myself because we have to cover him and help to do his jobs. Low expectations. I was told, this is in the Vinaya for the monks, you give jobs according to people's abilities. So it's stupid. Whoever gave him a job he can't do, it's the manager's fault sometimes. So, you find out what he can do, what he can't do, give him that job. And if he gets stressed out, no way he can perform at all. Give them a break. Tell them, lower your expectations. Take a break. De-stress, do the old putting down the cup simile. And then maybe you can achieve a bit more. Okay. What time of the interview is it? 10:30, is it? Okay, 10 o'clock interviews. Or 10:30? I think it's 10:30. Okay, got a few more minutes. Thank you, Ajahn Brahm, for your teaching and wisdom. I am so blessed to be able to be here this weekend. 2 questions. How does one accept another person's behaviour and attitude when it goes against your own values and beliefs? My values and beliefs is to have loving kindness to everybody, no matter what they do. So you've got the wrong values and wrong beliefs. You should be more tolerant and more accepting of others. Don't expect everyone to be as wise as you are. Be more tolerant, and then you've got easy to live with others. Dear Ajahn, can you please give us the guided vipassana meditation? I'll do that after I give them the guided loving kindness meditation, which might be next week sometimes. Oh, that's fine. Oh, this is the most... Well, you know, sometimes you get a question you just can't answer, you beat me. This is the most amazing question I've ever seen. Wow. Whoever wrote this, please come and sit up here, you're wiser than I. I've experienced a strong static energy and peacefulness. My mind was drawn into the peace and bright light. Oh, the pleasant and strong static energy was too disturbing. I stayed in the peacefulness and bright light for a while, but it was unstable and wobbly. How to have more peace? How to achieve stability? Thanks. Oh, you're getting so far. Okay, this is good enough for you. Please lower your expectations. And then you'll be peaceful. You've got so far, can't you be content? Why is it that people always want more? How much do you need to be happy? There was a Tibetan monk, Chogyam Trungpa. He once coined this wonderful phrase many years ago called spiritual materialism. Just like people in the United States, they want to be wealthier and wealthier and wealthier. How much millions do you need? More, please. And so they had this big materialism, and people had these huge mansions and big cars and yachts and private jets and all this other stuff. They still want more. And you notice there's the same in spiritual materialism. You're so peaceful in meditation, you want more. That's not the way of real religion, real meditation. We have contentment. We're not trying to achieve more. We're trying to let go of that very wanting to achieve. We're content. So whoever wrote that, no, but that's good enough. Stay where you are, let it be. And then you go deeper. If you want to go deeper, if you want to make progress, that very wanting is what will stop you. Meditation is what happens when you stop wanting anything. You're sitting there perfectly content, not wanting anything in the whole world. Then all these mangoes fall into your lap. Last question. Dear Ajahn Brahm, my mind often plays me chanting or songs during meditation. So you know my favourite song? I was doing a fundraiser once. That was actually for our Jhana meditation retreat centre. And as I was doing the fundraiser, someone said, Ajahn Brahm, please sing your favourite song and we'll give you some money for your retreat centre. So you're in a difficult position. You're trying to raise funds. Say, how much? So they said, 1,000 Australian dollars. So, all right. I said, okay, deal. So I sang one of my favourite songs from my youth. Silent Garfunkel's Sound of Silence. Sound of Silence, okay? But and then many of you know that that's one of the great hits. You remember Simon and Garfunkel? The Sound of Silence? So I just got away. Don't try and outwit Ajahn Brahm. You'll get your $1,000 anyway without having to sing any song at all. They coughed up in the end because they want a real song, but that's the only song I can sing. You know why monks can't sing? Out of compassion. I wouldn't think that one was it. Just make you sick. Okay, my level plays me chanting or song during meditation. Now there you go, but it's like a tape recording. The chanting starts again and again after a while. Is this common and what should we do? Well, actually, that is very common because that's what these songs are meant to do, to get into your head and to stay there. And there's a lot of psychology issues in getting these jingles which you can't get out of your head, which is one of the big problems. So one way of doing that, of stopping it, is if you've got that song, slow it down. So is it like the Metta Sutta? This is what should be done. Start slowing down. This is what should be. Then it stops it. You can't get it out of your head, but you can actually slow it down until it grinds to a halt. That's one way of doing it. Or you can actually come to the finale. Da 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 da! Then it stops. So you can use some skillful means to try and get those out of your head. In the end, it drives you crazy. And again, you are being controlled by this sound inside of you. So afterwards, it's not your choosing to do this, you're being controlled by it. So really be careful just the way you allow other people or things to get inside your head and control you. That way, then eventually they will stop. Okay, enough questions. So I'm sure there'll be more.